You guys know I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and tonight's no different because if you were holding out hope and thinking maybe, just maybe, the most recent bid that was made by Paramount Skydance for WB Discovery would be enough to convince the shareholders with their hostile takeover attempt to stop this Netflix merger from happening, well, despite even offering more money, WBD has now announced they're going to continue with the deal they actually agreed to with Netflix. They've now officially declined Paramount Skydance's most recent deal, again, despite it being more money. I'm not even kidding. They described the the offer as an illusion. Essentially, they don't trust the Ellison family, and they don't really want to work with their backers. Whereas with Netflix, the money's there, and a lot more trustworthy of a deal, apparently, can be done if they just continue to work towards their agreement. Apparently by Q3 next year, that's when they're thinking all this will be made official. But yeah, guys, that's the news of today. Gonna be actually citing a Variety article that talked about it. I'll have it linked down below. But essentially what this means is, moving forward, Netflix is in control of all of our favorite WB IPs. That includes, yes, Mortal Kombat. Netflix now controls Mortal Kombat. Before we break it all down, you guys, you know the drill. If you can, it takes you a second, please drop a like on the video. Bittersweet, because I really thought maybe, just maybe, there was a chance the Ellison family could sway Zaslav, but again, from what's being reported, it's pretty evident that WBD does not trust Paramount or the Ellison family. And with that said, let's break this stuff down. Let's have some fun. And let's get into it. So this was an article shared over on X from Variety. It says the WBD board says the terms of the Netflix merger are superior, formally rejecting Paramount Skydance's unsolicited $30 per share takeover bid for Paramount's hostile offer to advance. It would need approval from both WBD boards and shareholders unless it can secure at least 90% of outstanding WBD shares. So again, there's like a 1% chance of this happening. The door is not completely shut, but from what's being reported, yeah, everyone's pretty much content with the Netflix deal. Now, this is the actual article, again, posted earlier today. It says WBD rejects Paramount's offer at $30 a share. WBD board remains committed to Netflix deal, asserts Paramount Skydance's $9 billion merger cost synergies target would make Hollywood weaker, not stronger. Now, it opens up by saying WBD's board has formally said no thanks to the $108 billion takeover bid from David Ellison's Paramount Skydance and unanimously reiterated its support for the Netflix deal. Following WBD's announcement, Paramount affirmed that it will continue to make its case directly to shareholders for the latest $30 per share hostile offer, indicating for now that it won't be going any higher. So they're already pretty much rejecting this, and they're not adding more money. So again, don't know the real options the Ellison family has moving forward, other than, again, trying to sway 90% of shareholders. Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen. Now, going on, it says, WBD said Wednesday its board has unanimously determined that the tender offer launched by Paramount Skydance on December 8th, 2025 is not in the best interest of WBD and its shareholders and does not meet the criteria of a superior proposal under the terms of WBD's merger agreement with Netflix announced on December 5th, 2025. The WBD Discovery Board recommends that WBD shareholders reject Paramount Skydance's offer. Now, here's another quote. It says, the terms of the Netflix merger are superior. The Paramount Skydance offer provides inadequate value and imposes numerous significant risk and cost on WBD. Now, in this actual article, if you go to the very bottom, you can actually see the entirety of the letter breaking all this stuff down, but the very bottom half of this says, according to the WBD board's letter, Paramount has consistently misled WBD shareholders that its proposed transaction has a full backstop from the Ellison family. It does not, and never has. Yeah. This is the first time I feel like we've actually seen reports coming out saying this, which is honestly kind of a big deal. Going on, it says, the WBD board letter continues, despite having been told repeatedly by WBD how important and full and unconditional financing commitment from the Ellison family was, and despite their own ample resources as well as multiple assurances by Paramount Skydance during our strategic review process that such a commitment was forthcoming, the Ellison family has chosen not to backstop the Paramount Skydance offer. WB's board said a revocable trust is no replacement for a secured commitment by a controlling stockholder, because the assets and liabilities of the trust are not publicly disclosed and are subject to change. Furthermore, according to the WBD letter, Paramount's acquisition offer can be terminated or amended by Paramount Skydance at any time prior to its completion, and is therefore not the same as a binding merger agreement. Yeah, I believe this is the very first time we've ever seen this disclosed, ever. For some reason, if they hypothetically agreed with Paramount, and the Ellison family try to do some other stuff to, I don't know, appease their own backing or themselves, and let's just say WBD wasn't willing to work with that idea, they could have just pulled out at any given time, which is, again, something they don't want because they're just trying to sell to the highest bidder that makes the most sense consistently and safely. Say what you will about Netflix and how they handle their IPs. Netflix is worth a bunch of money, and that's not going away anytime soon. Whereas the Ellison family, again, being backed by all these other people, I can definitely see the argument that WBD is making in all of this. Now, it goes on to also say, the Paramount Skydance offer is illusory. They said that. They're legit calling their offer an illusion, not real, which is crazy. Because again, we've seen for days, at this point, weeks, how apparently they've been more than willing to offer more money than Netflix. And they're coming out saying, yeah, it's not real. Additionally, the WBD board commented on Paramount's expectation that it can achieve $9 billion in cost synergies. These targets are both ambitious from an operational perspective and will make Hollywood weaker, not stronger, WBD's board says. Netflix has identified $2 billion, $3 billion in expected cost synergies. WBD Chair Samuel D. Piazza Jr. said in a statement, following a careful evaluation of Paramount's recently launched tender offer, the board concluded that the offer's value is inadequate, with significant risk and cost imposed on our shareholders. This offer once again fails to address key concerns that we have consistently communicated to Paramount throughout our extensive engagement and review of their 6 previous proposals. We are confident that our merger with Netflix represents superior, more certain value for our shareholders, and we look forward to delivering on the compelling benefits of our combination. Now, just to round out this article, which again, I did not actually share with you guys everything this article has to say. It's a lengthy article. I'm just kind of focusing in on the meat and potatoes, if you will. But it says here, the WBD board reinforced that Netflix merger agreement is superior, that our acquisition is the best interest of stockholders, said Ted Sarandos, Netflix co-CEO. This was a competitive process that delivered the best outcome for consumers, creators, stockholders, and the broader entertainment industry. By acquiring WB, we'll be able to offer audiences and creators around the world even more choice, value, and opportunity. This transaction is fundamentally pro-consumer, pro-innovation, pro-creator, and pro-growth, which, honestly, I don't buy it. I don't necessarily believe Netflix. I don't trust Netflix, but at least when it comes to, like, how Netflix has their money, I mean, I understand why WBD would rather deal with them than, again, Paramount Skydance. This now, for the first time ever, reported idea that at any time from now until it was actually finalized, they could just find any excuse to call off the deal. I get it. It's easier business to work with Netflix than everyone else that they'd be using Paramount Skydance to actually make the deal and the funds go through. So there you go. That is the update. They've officially said no to Paramount Skydance. Netflix's offer is essentially going to come to fruition. If everything gets approved by the government, they went as far as to even updating the official Netflix website with the WB logo everywhere. I also thought this was pretty much a nice breakdown of the current situation. If you guys don't want to read the full article, this is essentially how it went down. WB board just called Larry Ellison and Paramount dishonest. Their recommendation for shareholders to reject Paramount offer is far more detailed and specific than I thought it would be. They quote specific parts of the contract showing that Larry Ellison was lying about the terms of their offer, their communications, and the regulatory risk of the Netflix deal. They called the deal with Paramount illusory, explaining why it's a fake deal with no binding terms. So yeah, they're not happy with how Paramount Skydance has acted over the last couple of weeks. And it's just crazy because from everything that's been reported publicly, at least, it really did seem like the Ellison family was willing to play ball, going as far as to even, again, add more value to the offer than before. Upwards of $8 billion. I think the Netflix deal is $84 billion. So that's another $20 billion, man. Granted, Paramount Skydance wanted everything WBD had to offer. Netflix just wants the backlog of films, the studios, things of that sort. So completely different, but that's where we are and that's where we stand. Again, there's still a chance Paramount Skydance can somehow convince the WBD shareholders that their offer is legit. But based on what's being reported and what this letter has said, I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're stuck with Netflix being in control of our favorite WB IPs, including Mortal Kombat. So yeah, it's bittersweet. But again, I talked about this a few days ago. This would be reported this week. And sure enough, it was reported. They said no formally. So we'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, there you go. What do you all think of this? How do you feel about Netflix, by all accounts, kicking Paramount out of this opportunity? Let me know down below. Maybe, just maybe, we'll get at least some Netflix Mortal Kombat TV series. I guess that would be cool, but the games division, remember, no value, they thought. Had no value in the deal they agreed to. If you guys enjoyed, drop a like on the video, subscribe for some more MK content like this. Till next time, been your host, Min Dynasty. Please take care, stay safe. I love you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.